Hey everybody, this is Ben and welcome to another Timber and Stone tutorial video. In this video, I'm going to be covering designations, which are a specific way in Timber and Stone to specify an area for your villagers to take a particular action. Just as a reminder note, I am recording this in the test build for version 1.7, so any debug or glitchiness, this is not a final build, so just keep that in mind. Now, designations, like I said, are the way that you pretty much tell your villagers, do something in this area. For one example, it's something that's very basic, very important though. You'll find on the design menu are where the designations are almost exclusively kept. The dig mine designation, there's no other options for it, makes it very easy to cover here. So the first thing, I need a little bit of dirt actually to build some stuff. So I am going to just click down here on the ground, click once, designation will follow your cursor, and I will just stretch this all the way out to here, click again, and now all of the blocks in that area have been selected, and that is a dig or mine designation. Anybody who is a miner profession will come and dig that out. You just click on that button and just select the area you want to be dug out. Oh, we are having some goblin attacks here. I apologize for that. Let's just keep moving. So you can see that people are, yeah, the miners are getting to work there. And yeah, they'll take care of that all on their own. So that's just a basic one-level designation, no special options or anything. However, there are a lot of other ways you can designate things. I'm going to stick with the dig mine designation because it's, like I said, it's very simple. To cancel a designation, like say, I don't want them to dig, way back here. This is too much. Now, this is a commonly asked question because it's not a very intuitive system, but it works just fine once you're told how to do it. To remove an area from a designation, you click once, just like you pick any designation like the dig mine. So I want to unselect this area of the designation. So I'm going to go out just as if I were about to designate it again. Go over the area, select what I want to remove from the designation. Now before I click a second time to finalize and select that area, I hold down the Alt and Shift key. And you can see this area is now yellow. That is the remove designation selection area. So now I'll just pick the area I want undesignated, click a second time, and voila! That area is no longer designated to be dug out. Now that goes the same for all of the volumetric type designations, and that's what I would call like digging and construction designations, primarily to be volumetric designations. And that's just a fancy way of me saying essentially that you're able to designate more than a single layer. So for example, that's enough dirt for me, but I want to get some more stone over here. So you can see there's a little hill. So let's say I'm gonna dig out some of this hill. I'm gonna start down here, and now I can select into the side of this hill. You can kind of see my designation, coming through some of the low spots, but I want to dig out a big chunk here. Let's try to get an 8x8 chunk. I want to dig all the way from the top down to this level. You can use the up or down arrow keys to change the height of your designation, and it will show you right there in those numbers 8x8x2 that I'm now 2 blocks high and 3 blocks high and so on. Now that appears to be 3 blocks appears to be covering everything, so I simply then click again, and everything in that 8x8x3 block high area is selected or designated to be dug out. And the miners, again, they will come and take care of that all on their own. And that goes for all of the, as I call them, volumetric designations. The second type of designation is essentially a flat plane designation. And that would be things such as the farm is an excellent example of that. So if I come to designate a farm, let's just say I'm going to do some wheat, because I have some wheat laying around. So just as an example, if I click here, it still shows me, like, for example, that I can do, like, we'll do a 5x5x1. For example, it's 1 block high because I'm selecting only the ground. However, if I use the up or down arrow keys, as you can hear, it does not change the height of the designation because it wouldn't make sense to have a multi-block high farm. Apologies, let me unpause the game. Let my villagers take care of themselves. So yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. Additionally, so if I designate this, the plane designations typically are not removed by using the Alt-Shift key modifiers. You would more likely simply click on the designation while visible, and there should be some kind of remove option. For example, this wheat farm would say remove wheat farm, and then into some prompt to, are you sure you want to remove it? Yes, I want to remove that. That's not a good spot to farm. It's too removed from where my farmer works. So that's how the flat plane designations are typically handled. So let's go through some of the other designations real quick. Under the design menu, so we have the dig mine, the farms. Construction is a very, very big one. This is where you're going to do all of your building. So real quick, just to give an example, let's do stone. I don't have any bricks prepared at this point. Oh, he is ready with the stone forge, however. So I will be able to get some bricks fairly soon. I'm going along here. Oh, another goblin has been spotted. I better check that nobody's dying. Okay, he's way out there, and he's wounded. Oh, he's the same one who's been spotted. All right, let's go back to the village. Talk about our construction. So now I'm getting started. I have a lot of stone saved up. I'm ready to build some walls. So you pick... I'm going to the terrain, and I have stone. That's just very simple, very basic walls. It's not anything fancy. And I can pick the shape. You can do squares or slopes at this point. Unfortunately, these other fun shapes are not really implemented. The stairs and the angled surfaces, other than the slopes, are not implemented. So just simple squares is fine. So you can see I have my regular designation selection here. So if I want to create a little wall area, so I can do... like this, and yeah, I can do a flat plane area. I can also use the up and down arrow keys. Down doesn't really make sense in this instance, but if you were doing a dig designation, for example, down might make a lot of sense. But for our walls, we're going to want to go up, and we'll just say 3 blocks high. That's a nice, easy height to work with. Your villagers can reach it without ladders or anything. They have a low probability of getting stuck. So we can just do... 1 by whatever by 3, so 1 by 10 by 3 block wall, for example. Perfect. It's a good short little start to a wall. Now, if you're doing a very long wall, I mean, it's in some cramped areas, it's going to be bothersome to try to keep this to be only 1 block thick. You do have the modifier key of the shift key. Now, you can see no matter where my cursor goes, this stays in a single plane wall. Now, it will adjust depending on which plane it thinks you want to use. Even more useful, possibly, if you want to build a quick building here. So say I want to make like a house. Let's make a house right here. All right. So this is now a solid cube of stone. This is going to be a 11 by 11 by 3 block cube of stone. I don't want that. I want a house. I want walls. So if you hold the Alt key, it very handily adjusts the designation to have a hollow center. It doesn't add a roof on there, but you can do walls very quickly. So let's just say I'm going to build that. Yes, let's build that right now. Now, I covered earlier how to remove a designation, and in this case, you might notice I didn't leave a space for a door. Fortunately, I also don't have a builder, so no one's rushing over here to construct the place. So what I can do to leave space for a door is I will pick where I want the door to go, say like right here, and I know that the doors are 3 blocks wide, 3 blocks tall. Then I hold Alt and Shift, and then click again, and very easily I left space for a door. It only took me just a couple of clicks to really quickly lay that out. The windows are a little bit trickier. Trying to get designations that are in mid-air is not nearly so easy, so it might be better off if you built up areas around windows more slowly. Though you can, for example, let's say I want a window on this side, you can be a little trickier, and let's say you do a nice big window there. We'll remove that, and now I'm going to put the bottom row back in, and there you go. You can see I've got a window built into the designation there. So you can do a lot of pre-building of the designations using those function keys. Before I go away from this designation, the last modifier key is the control key, which is useful for castle walls, which are very popular in timber and stone. You may know. So what that does is if I am building, I I've built my castle walls. Pretend we're up on top of the castle walls here. We've got a nice flat surface, place for the guards to patrol, walk along the top. We want to add crenellations. Control key, super easy, takes care of that for us. Puts down a block every other block. It makes it way less clicking as long as you've got a nice straight row. This does enforce that it's going to be in a straight line. It doesn't do any kind of angling or like that. But as long as your walls are nice straight lines, this will take care of your crenellations super easily. Now, you notice to get out of the designation, say I want to cancel creating this one, I'm simply right-clicking. Let me unpause this game again. We have a lot of mobs in the version 1.7. Be warned, everyone. It's going to get very battle-y. So then let's go over the last couple designations here. One special case of the designations is the hall, which I have not placed down yet because it can cause monsters to gravitate towards the hall. But we've got this little building designated out, so why not make use of it? Once I decide to have someone build it, we'll use this as our hall. So I'm gonna just go ahead and designate out. The hall is a flat plane, so you're not gonna get any height or anything like that. Just pick an area, place it down, and your villagers will tend to gravitate towards the hall, as will the mobs from time to time. Now, one difference with the hall is once you place it down, you cannot remove it. Unlike a farm, even though it's a flat plane designation, you cannot remove it. You can move it if you designate another hall. For example, if I put one here, voila. Again, another special feature you'll note is that you can only have a single hall. You cannot have multiple halls. You cannot have no hall, at least once you've created one. Now, a hall is pretty useful because you need one in order to get migrants and traders. So you're definitely going to want to have one of these. But it may be very slightly advantageous at the very start to hold off on placing it. One of the other main designations that's quite important is roads. You'll need roads to get, again, traders and new migrants for the village. So roads, thankfully, have been changed from, they used to be a plain designation, but now they are volumetric designations. So if I want to go across the land here, as long as I don't care too much about how many blocks I'm adding to this road, I can just keep that 3 wide and just keep building that. There we go. That's a lot of blocks to add to the road, but that's okay because it's a functional road. Voila, going up the hill makes it a lot easier than the old way where you had to select every little block, every little slope to make sure that the road was continuous. So roads are also, even though they used to be a plane, they used to be removed by clicking. Now, since they are volumetric, they are again removed with the Alt-Shift modifier, like so. And those are very important. You will deal a lot with laying out roads to the borders when you get later into the village. So I thought this was going to be a fairly quick look at designations, but as I continue to talk, I'm realizing that there's a lot more to these than perhaps even I realized when I first started talking about it. There are also the remove trees designations. You can either designate an area to chop down mature trees or clear cut. These are not persistent, but it is handy if you want your wood chopper to come out here. Let's say cut down these trees. Now, it doesn't stay persistent. He will not continue to come back and chop only the mature trees. But it is a fast way to select trees rather than clicking on each single one and marking it for cutting down. And it also has the clear cut, which will automatically designate it for chop down and remove stump. Very handy if you want to cut out a large area. You need a bunch of wood quickly, and you don't want your wood chopper just wandering aimlessly around. I tend to leave them wander aimlessly. There are also livestock pens. These are a flat plane designation because it wouldn't make sense to have a 3-dimensional pen. You only need to designate the land area. Again, remove by clicking on the designation and then clicking the remove button. Another goblin. This update is going to be pretty fantastic, you guys. And let's see, what was the last designation? Oh, I covered the remove trees, construction, farms. We covered, I think, every single one of these now. the basic features of them at least. Military, I will leave for another time, because that's a whole subset of the game in itself. And then, of course, also objects covers really just about absolutely everything else you build in the entire game. So thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope this tutorial has been useful. I hope this information is something that you're learning something, and it's going to help you be able to play Timber and Stone more easily and to be more successful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.